Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner. Here, this is Sriparna. Hope all of you are doing good. In my last session, we had discussed some e-learning activities like MOOC, SWAM, SWAMProva, ePathshala, Consortium for Educational Communication, and last but not the least, that is National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. So today we are going to explain some new concept under the same chapter, that is teaching aptitude. Okay, so that's why the session is called teaching aptitude part 10. So if you have missed my previous session, please go and check my description box and my first comment where the previous videos link is already shared. Okay, so now let's start the session and move on the next slide. So here there are some topic which we will discuss today. So first one is of differences between the offline teaching method and online teaching method, and next concept we are going to discuss some different teaching aids. That is some teaching aids are, we all know some teaching aids are audio based, some are visual based, and some are also audio visual aids. So that's why we are going to explain some different types of teaching aid which helps to in learning, teaching learning process also. So now going to the main slide and let's begin the session. So here we can see some differences between offline teaching method and online teaching method. Okay, so but going to the differences, at first we have to know what do you mean by a offline teaching method and online teaching method. So what do you mean by a offline teaching method, learner? So you all know offline teaching method, that means teaching takes place inside the classroom, and on the other hand online teaching method or online teaching process basically indicates there is no limit of the physical boundary for the classroom. Okay, I think this is clear, and this is one of the most easiest concept in education in the first chapter basically. Okay, so now going to the differences. So the first difference, that is methods that can be teacher centered or learner centered. Obviously offline teaching methods, teaching process takes place inside the physical boundary of the classroom, and methods can be teacher centered or the student centered. Okay, but on the other hand online teaching method, these are usually the student centered always. So in the offline teaching method, sometimes methods can be teacher centered or learner centered, but in the online teaching method, teaching procedure, teaching aid, all things are basically depends on the student. So these are usually student centered. Now going to the second point, that teach in the offline teaching method, the teacher is in direct contact with the students. Obviously learners need to be physically present in the classroom. So and the whole teaching process takes place inside the classroom, so that's why there is a direct contact, direct eye contact with the students. But in the online teaching method, the teacher is not in the direct contact with the students. Okay, now going to the third point, there is lack of flexibility. Okay, so there are, in this method of teaching, there are fixed timings for students to attend the class, but on the other hand, in the online teaching method, there are no fixed timings. Learners can access the online materials at time as per their convenience, as per their comfort time. So that's why it indicates they are flexible in nature, but offline teaching method uh, indicates no flexibility. Okay, so now going to the fourth difference, that is offline teaching method can be used in remote areas without electricity and internet connection, but in the online teaching method internet connection is must. Basically all process are all process basically depends on the internet, depends on the computer, so that's why internet connection is must. Without electricity, without internet connection, online teaching method is impossible. So offline teach in a offline teaching method, basically teaching process takes place inside the physical boundary of the classroom, but on the other hand, the online teaching method, there is no limit of physical boundary for the classroom. I think that this concept is clear to everyone, and so that's why learner can access uploaded videos from any place. So that is a big advantage of the that is a big advantage for online teaching method. But in the offline method, learners need to be physically present in the classroom, and we have already told teaching process basically takes place inside the physical boundary of the classroom. That's why there is a limited number of students, but in the online teaching method there is unlimited number of students. Any number of students can watch the course videos online and enroll in the online courses, and there are no fixed timings. Learners can access the online material anytime as per their comfort. So in the offline teaching method there are fixed timings, so there is lack of flexibility also. In the offline teaching method, the teacher can resolve students queries in the classroom only, but in the online teaching method, queries can be resolved in the discussion forum. Okay, so online teaching method basically is student centered, approach student centered method, but offline teaching method is can be teacher centered or learner centered. So now going to some example of the offline teaching method and online teaching method. So nesthetic teaching, role playing, simulation, all are the example of the offline teaching method, and computer based, game based learning, live sessions, video sessions, all are the example of the online teaching method. Basically in this method internet connection is must. Without internet connection, online teaching method, the process of the online teaching method is impossible. So teaching activity involving lecture, demonstration, heuristic method, discussion, project work, panel discussion, um, case study, assignments, tutorials can be planned in either offline or online mode, and all are the teaching methods. We have already discussed that thing. The lecture, demonstrations, heuristic method, tutorials, presentations, all can be planned in either offline or online mode. There can be methods which will involve both offline and online teaching, such a flipped classroom. Okay, so in which students will learn content from videos uploaded online by their teachers, and then will have discussion and solve assignments in class. So I think the most important but easy differences between offline teaching method and online teaching method is clear. So now we are going to start another topic, that is teaching aids, the types of teaching aids. Okay, so now move on the next slide. So here we can see some types of teaching aids. So there are five types of teaching aids which are using in the offline and online mode of teaching both. From name, the first one is the audio aids, second one is the visual aids, third one is the three-dimensional aids, fourth one is audio visual aids, and last but not the least, that is activity aids. So now we are going to the basic explanation about audio aids, visual, three dimensions, audio visual and activity aids. So here this is the first teaching aid, that is the audio aids. Okay, so from name we have already a basic idea about so now move on the next slide. So here we can see the first teaching aid, that is the audio aids. Okay, so at first we have to know what do you mean by a audio aids, and then what are the basic examples of the audio aids. So now go to the first question. So what is audio aids? So audio aids are those which appeal to the sense of hearing of students. So which appeal to the sense of hearing of students. So those are designed to appeal to the sense of hearing of students, which is known as audio aids. Okay, so now go to the some example of audio aids. Okay, so here we can see there are 4 to 5 examples of audio aids. So first one is radio, and radio is one of the oldest audio aids and which is used in teaching learning process. So use of radio for educational purpose back to the 1927. Okay, before independence there were 30 air or all India radio centers broadcasting educational program. It can be used for the lecture streaming, news updates, streaming discussion sessions, and other educational programs. And it can be used as an effective teaching aid for teaching due to its high reach and availability in even remote areas, because it doesn't need any kind of internet connection. Okay, next example of the audio aids, that is the recordings, that is record also. So recorder basically example of the audio aids. So recorders can also be used to facilitate the teaching learning process, and it can be used to record lectures, discussions, dialogues, conversation, etc. And the recorded piece, recorded audio clips can be used later at any time. So recordings can be saved for personal use, or this can be shared with others as well. So it can be streamed on radio or through audio players also. So that's why audio players is one of the most important teaching aid in the teaching learning process, the audio aids basically. And it helps to the maximize its reach. And there are special recorders available in the market to serve the purpose. For affordable recording, students can make use of the recorder in their phone also. So the next examples are the mobile and telephone. You all know that how we use the mobile and telephone as a audio aid. So I think this is clear to everyone what is audio aids and what are the example of the audio aids. So now move on the next teaching aid, next most important teaching aid, that is the visual aids. Okay, so what is visual aids? Visual aids are designed to appeal to the eyes of the students. Okay, so now going to, I think this is very easy. So I think we are at present we are going to the example of the visual aids. So let's move on the slide. So there are some examples, okay, of the visual aids. So first one is the slides and charts, display boards and projectors, picture graph and diagram, and the flashcard and the postcards. So at first we have to discuss what is slides, okay, and how we used slides as a visual aids, okay. So slides are one of the most common visual aid which can be used in nearly all fields. Software like Microsoft PowerPoint, Google Slides can be used to prepare slides. So I also use the slides, Microsoft PowerPoint slides as a visual aids to all of you. I think what is slides and how we used slides as a visual aids, it is clear to everyone. So the teacher should make slides in such a way that these capture the interest of the students. Animations, pictures, charts, text, etc. can be used in slides also. Okay. So now move on the next example, that is the charts and graph theme. Charts and graphs can be used to make learning easier. We all know that a teacher should have knowledge of the charts, graphs, their uses, so that this can be used in a way to make a teaching learning process effective. So it helps to effective the teaching learning process, and these can be drawn manually or with the help of the software also, okay. So now going to the flashcards and the posters. So flashcards are like compact cards, okay. So like compact cards, compact cards. So flashcards are like compact cards. These are generally used in sets. One card is displayed immediately after another. So information can be present on both of the slides of the card. So these can be used for glossary and the quiz, okay. Sorry, quiz, and where the question is displayed on the front side of the card and the answer on the answer on the rear. So flashcards can also be made with the help of the computer software. So now going to the another example of the visual aids, that is the flash posters and the pictures. So important instructions, important instructions, important concepts, important dates can be pasted on classroom walls in the form of the posters or the pictures. So students will see them daily, consciously or subconsciously, and their brain will be tuned to follow those instructions. Students can be given some homework assignments to prepare posters or pictures on a particular topic, or it can be planned as a classroom activity. So poster making competition can be arranged to enhance the creativity thinking and drawing skills of the students. So posters, pictures helps to enhance the creativity thinking. So creativity thinking and the drawing skills of the students. Okay, it helps to enhance the students drawing skills and the creativity skills. And now we are going to the next example, that is the diagram thing. So what do you mean by a diagram? So diagrams are very common teaching aid used especially for the science subjects, and these help in remembering the structure of an object, okay. So that's why we are using different kinds of diagram, different kinds of pictures in the science, life science, physical science, etc. Okay. So now going to the another example of the visual aids, that is the display board and the display board, blackboard, etc. So display board, so it helps in engaging the students, and there are different kinds of display boards like blackboard, and blackboard is one of the most popular and primitively used teaching aid. In earlier times, the teacher used to write on individual slates of students to instruct them. Then, with the time of idea of a common board or slate for the whole class emerged. Nowadays, the magnetic boards, peg boards, bulletin boards, all are the very popular example of the display boards or are the most popular uh, display boards nowadays. But at first we have to know what do you mean by a peg boards. So what is the peg boards thing? So those have holes to affix the diagram. Those have holes to affix the diagrams, figure, posters, models, articles, etc. using pins or the householder holders. Okay, so they are very simple and very easy to use. However, use of pegboards can be time consuming as the objects used for teaching needs a lot of time for preparation. But pegboards have holes, some holes to affix the different kinds of posters, diagrams, model, articles, etc. using pins and holders. I think what is pegboards is this clear. So now move on the next display board, that is the magnetic board. Okay. So what thing? So magnetic board, the different types of display board. Okay, so it is a one of the very important display board nowadays. So these are a variation to the common blackboard and the whiteboard. So magnetic strips are used in the board, and the object to be used on the boards have iron so that these stick on the board. So objects can be moved across the board easily to show the movements. Basically, it helps to move across the board easily to show the movements, and it is very similar to the refrigerator magnet. So, and refrigerator magnets is very popular thing nowadays. So magnetic board is the very common blackboard and the variation of the common blackboard and the whiteboard. So magnetic strips or magnet basically used in the board and in the object. Okay, so now going to the last type of display board, that is the bulletin board. So bulletin board. So these are used to display important handouts, notices, diagrams, posters, instructions, etc. for gaining students' attention. Basically, visual aids helps to gain the student attention easily, and pins are used to fasten papers on the boards, on the bulletin boards. So we have already discussed there are 3 to 4 types of display board. First one, that is the most popular and primitively used teaching aid, that is the blackboard. But nowadays we are using uh, three modern types of display board like peg boards, magnetic boards, and the bulletin boards. I think this is clear. So now move on the last example of the visual aids, that is the projectors. Okay, so projector is basically a visual projection. Obviously, it is the visual projection aids. Clear? So these are required to project slides, images, text, videos, diagrams, posters, etc. to facilitate the lecture or the demonstration. These arouse basically interest in students. So it helps to gaining interest in students. Students can also be given assignments to present in the class using projectors. So these will improve the presentation skills of the students. So projectors helps to improve the presentation skills of students, and the posters or the pictures thing helps to improve the students drawing skills, students creativity skills. Okay, so while using projectors, the teacher should make sure that content is neither too small nor too big. So it should be of optimal size so that it is visible to all students. I think projectors thing is clear. So now going to the next teaching it, that is the three-dimensional edge. Okay, so three-dimensional edge or the 3D edge help in the bringing to the classroom objects similar to the real object. Okay, so in some cases real objects can be shown to the students, but in other cases real objects such as rockets, planets, mountains, wild animals, internal systems of the human body, etc., cannot be brought to class. So, in such cases, a model can be used for effective teaching. So, some of the common three-dimensional aids are models, diagram, globes and samples, specimen, puppets, etc. So all are the example of the three-dimensional aids. So basically, those we are using the three-dimensional aids in the teaching learning process where some objects cannot be brought to class as a real thing, like rockets, planets, mountains, wild animals, etc. And that's why we are using a model can be used for the effective teaching. I think three-dimensional aids and the example of the three-dimensional aids are clear to all of you. So now move on the next teaching it, that is the audio visual aids. Okay, so from name we have already known audio visual aids, basically a combination of the audio and the video aids. Okay, audio and the visual aids according to the KJ Gems. audio visual visual sorry Audio-visual aids are any device which can be used to make learning experiences more concrete, more realistic, and more dynamic. Okay, so now going to the example. So basic thing, audio-visual aids is a combination of the audio aids and the visual aids. So audio aids basically are designed for what purpose? Audio aids are designed to appeal to the sense of hearing of the students, and the visual aids are designed to appeal to the eyes of the students. So that's why audio visual aids are any device which can be used to make learning experiences more concrete, more realistic, and more dynamic according to the gems. Okay, so now going to the example of the audio visual aids. So now going to the next thing, that is the example of the audio visual aids. So first example, that is the online videos. So we have already known online videos is one of the most important, most popular thing nowadays. Like TV channels can be created on YouTube or the other platforms. So there are huge number of educational channels on YouTube, and there are many websites as well on which educational videos are available. So video lectures are now available on a wide range of topics. The biggest advantage is that students can access these free of cost. They just need to have good internet connectivity and a smartphone or laptop or computer. And documentaries is also can also be shared with students for gaining comprehensive knowledge on a topic. Now going to the next example, that is a television thing. So television or TV can also serve as a medium of education. So education channels can be launched for teaching different subjects. So experts from the various reputed institutions can be called to record video lectures. So students at remote areas can also have access to these channels on TV. So now going to the another example of the audio visual is, that is a drama or play, etc. So drama or play can also be organized for spreading awareness. Okay, such activities help in developing communication skills, presentation skills of the students, creativity skills, and the cooperation skills. who participate in drama. So drama basically helps to improve students presentation skills, students communication skills, students cooperation skills, and most importantly students creativity skills. Such an activity should be planned and executed carefully so that the outcome is as intended. So real life situations can be recreated in drama, and the students can be taught how to deal with this type of situation. Okay, and now going to the another example of the audio visual is, that is cartoons or puppets. So student engagement in cartoons is very high because it help in conveying important ideas, instructions along with fun and entertainment. So cartoons are effective especially for kids, as a tendency to imitate is higher in them. So kids will try to imitate what their favorite cartoon character is doing. So these way the habits of cleanliness, discipline, respecting each other, obeying parents, etc. can get inculcated in kids. So cartoons or puppets basically helps to inbuild the habits of the cleanliness, discipline, respecting each other, obeying parents in kids. Uh, Okay, so I think audio visual aids is clear to everyone. So now move on the last and the most important teaching aid, that is the activity aids. Clear? So activity aids are the very natural medium of instructions and suitable for the developmental education, because these are aids in which students learn by doing. Students retain more if they were actively engaged in the learning process, in the teaching learning process, and have acquired knowledge on the basis of the some activity. And these activities may be experiment in a laboratory, a role play, a field trip, presentations, assignments, field survey, field work, computer assisted learning program, etc. And students understand better what they have been involved in the learning process instead of being passive receivers of the knowledge. So students always understand better when they have been involved in the teaching learning process, involved in the activity process of the educational sector. I think activity aids is clear. So now going to the example of the activity aids. Field trips, we have already told that different type of laboratory experimentations, field different kinds of field trips, field survey, role play, all are the example of the activity aids. So basically activity aid helps to increase the retaining power in students basically. I think this is clear. So we are done for the today's session. I hope this session will be very useful to everyone. So if you like my session, do not forget to share, like, comment to the videos, and please do some support and subscribe my channel for getting more useful sessions. I will come again with a new session. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you to all of you. Happy learning.